seconds remaining.
Game 1 saw Invictus Gaming run LGD right off the map in sub 25 minutes. Game 2, LGD went back to the well with IO, a second pick in a row after a failure in Game 1, but they certainly got a lot more out of the hero that time around. Now here in Game 3, Invictus Gaming and LGD both look to get another notch in the win column, and this time IG stealing a play from LGD's playbook and first picking the IO. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers, joined by Merlini, and yeah, we saw LGD getting some IO practice earlier. Looks like Invictus has decided it's their turn to play with him a little bit.
Yeah, they completely ignored him the first two games in this draft, and now it looks like they want to take it for themselves. So I have not seen IG play the Wisp, but I hope it's as good as DDC's was last game.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw it was like night and day, really. I mean, DDC in Game 1 just felt completely ineffective. And something else that occurs to me that we've seen, I mean, and granted, this is only our second broadcast day and only our fifth best of 3 that we've witnessed together, but really, Chen has not been having a good go of it here in the in Season 4 of the HyperX D2L. I mean, we've just seen him drafted and, for the most part, not do a whole lot. I think we saw one good game in which Misery redeemed himself on the hero. That was after an utter failure in that first game, and now, once again, in Game 2, we just saw a Chen that really did nothing but sit back, hit R, and hope for the best.
Yeah, I totally agree with you here. Chen has been a very hit or miss hero. He never just does like decent and, you know, kind of just does his thing. It just seems like a lot of teams have been very good at responding to a Chen and just getting a lot more out of their supports. And Chen really seems to fall off if you can't put a lot of pressure on them early. And he's not a really good comeback hero too. So we see teams just get a little bit too far behind with him too early, and then he just becomes a non-factor.
Yeah, taking a look at where we stand, the Nyx Assassin and the Weaver, the two bugs going to be leading the charge for LGD, while OD and IO, a nice opening front two, I think. I mean, obviously a lot of options to pair up with that IO. LGD is going to land themselves the Lifestealer. CK is available for IG if they want to go in that direction. And, I mean, IO CK mid is just kind of rough, man. But if you let the CK get ahead in levels, he's a hero that you just cannot stand in front of once he gets to level 4, level 5, especially on up once he has maxed out Chaos Bolt. You just can't sit one-on-one. It kind of forces the enemy to try and break down the laning phase. He is a fairly innately tanky hero for the most part. He's able to jump on you very quickly with Reality Rift. And I'm a little surprised they left it in the pool here, opting to ban the Ursa out instead.
5 seconds.
I think it's very smart for them to ban Razor. Razor was just proved to be a constant problem played by Xiao 8 last game, and we saw that they liked to pick it up. They picked it up very, very early, and then matched up very well versus OD. They tried to babysit him a little bit, but still, OD not really having the impact that we see him a lot of the games. I think that Banana maybe should have put out a little bit more pressure early, and instead he just like passively farmed up a mech with no boots. And OD, with his 4-staff, he still died like way too often. I think that if he had gotten the mech instead, and I think they could have probably try and contest a little bit, but he was just forced to constantly run away. He would like banish the Razor and then take a lot of damage, be purged, and then just have to immediately run away in the fight. And he didn't really have any great ultimates either on a Sandy's Eclipse, even though he had a sheep at the end.
Yeah, we see Clockwork going to be joining the fray there with Invictus Gaming. Very well played in Game 2 from Yao. And I mean, really, when you're talking about just the ability to make things happen at a distance, IO and Clockwork, two of the best in the business. The Nature's Prophet is still available if either team really wants to go with something like that. But with LGD already having 2 supports and one would imagine as a safe lane farmer, and the Lifestealer Weaver perhaps is the off lane. I'm not sure where. And Weaver could also be, Weaver in the offlane. So we'll have to see how they want to play it out. Keeper will be the pickup from Invictus, but that just adds even more global presence. IO with Relocate, now with Keeper's ability to recall with his ultimate. LGD is going to be really hard-pressed to keep tabs on where Invictus Gaming happens to be at any given moment.
I would like to see like a Storm Spirit last pick. Storm Spirit plus Keeper Light is so much fun to watch. But unfortunately, LGD does have Nyx on their team. I'm pretty sure it's just going to be a very traditional carry. It could even be a Phantom Lancer. LGD doesn't really have a good way to deal with it. Nyx Assassin, very little AoE. Weaver, not good at taking out PL illusions. Lifestealer also fares very, very poorly. So we'll see if IG wants to go a passive strategy, but it's generally not the combination with EO. I definitely expect them to go more aggressive hero than PL.
The Alchemist is still available if they want to try to pair that up. We see LGD did decide to go ahead and ban the CK with their last ban. I am a little bit surprised that they picked up the Keeper of the Light instead of the CK with that last pick. I think they could have waited on the if Invictus did indeed want the CK. They probably could have snagged him and still gotten the Keeper of the Light as well. But LGD says, you know what? traditions be damned. We're going to try to run Shen again and hope that it goes better for us than it has for most people.
Yep, and IG, most obvious picks are Alchemist and Gyrocopter. Those are just standard pairs with EO. They both offer very good AoE. They also both they do well early game, which is where EO is like the weakest, 1 through 5, and they both just scale phenomenally well with the items. So what is IG going to run? They still have tons of reserve time. Looks like a Phantom Lancer. Okay, well, Phantom Lancer PL or Phantom Lancer plus EO a little bit unusual, but with the Keeper Light pick, you kind of had to see it coming.
Well, very well called, my friend. The PL will join the fray as their last pick, and I'm really interested to see how they plan to utilize this item. Probably going to want to be hooking him up with Ferrari to try and let him move around, and not going to be using it in the singular gank way nearly as much, I don't think. I think they're going to be using it much more of a way to get heroes into position and make bigger things happen. Otherwise, they would have gone with a more typical hero that excels much more in those smaller skirmish situations. But if they're able to put him together with the OD, they should be just fine. We'll take a look at who's going to be handling who on both sides. IG, who again won game 1 in convincing fashion, but ended up giving up game 2 to LGD just as badly. Gonna have Faith running on their IO pick this time. YYF will be playing the Clockwork. He's setting up shop in that off lane. Ferrari 430 will be playing the OD here mid once again. Tongfu, gonna continue to do that. Banana gonna be handling our Keeper of the Light. He's keeping a watch on the rune spot now. And the Phantom Lancer, who pairs with Coddle so very well, going to be handled by Hao on the other side of the river. Going to have Zhao 8. It's actually going to be a mid-Nyx assassin by all accounts as he's skittering around in front of the tier 3 there in mid. Going to have DD playing on our Chen, crossing over, making his way into the jungle. Yao going to be taking the Lifestealer into the offlane. Shades of old 2012 LGD International and how they decide to run this. The Weaver will be played by Rabbit. He's up in that safe lane, at least for the moment, and the Rubik hanging around. So never mind, not going to be the solo Lifestealer. They're just going to go ahead and try to run an aggressive tri-lane.
And looks like they are... Banana tries to get lifted up, but can't do that anymore. DDC does pick up the regeneration, so no mana loss to his name. Still took about 80 damage from the right clicks from the Keeper Light. On the bottom lane, we see how he's actually moving up very, very early. We see this sometimes when they want to scout out what lanes they have, and you can see whether or not you can check out their inventory, see if they've placed any wards. You can see how many heroes are there, and if your supports are free to stack and pull at that 45 and or minute mark. And just general good play by them. But again, their lanes are very, very predictable. They have to know that Hao is going to be a safe lane, babysat by these two supporters. We see Ferrari in mid as usual, and YYF as the off lane. Rabbit actually gets trapped in.
And we're going to have up here at top, YYF trapping Rabbit in, doing a bit of damage. We do see the rotation of Chen coming from the jungle. That's kind of what you expect. Start out in your own jungle, go see if you can find a decent creep, and he does with the Wildkin. YYF going toe-to-toe with Rabbit. Rabbit should do just fine here, but YYF also should be doing just fine. He'll certainly find his levels very quickly. Here in mid, Ferrari taking a lot of damage from Zhao 8 right now and being forced back up. We're going to see the Wild Wing Ripper, I should say, tossing out the Tornado, just trying to confound things a little bit more for Hao as he tries to farm the PL.
And Xiao 8 has successfully burned all of Ferrari's mana. I expect him to go a bottle just so he can keep up the pressure with the Astral Imprisonment. And Xiao 8 does not have a Stout Shield though, and he is just under a lot of harass. He does have his bottle coming in right now, so he should be able to keep up the pressure with the mana burns. On top lane, YYF just looks like he's doing a decent job of CSing. 3-1 for him, 6-2 against the Weaver, but he has a creep wave pushing to his tower. Bottom lane, Yao is playing very, very aggressively. That Tornado from the Chen just being very, very annoying. CS is a whopping 10-0 on the PL, 11-0 right now. So Hao doing a phenomenal job of farming against this triple lane.
And LGD trying to put the pressure on, but like you said, doing quite well, sitting at 11 CS, just the same as Ferrari here in mid, who's sitting at 10. The Weaver not doing too shabby a job up at top. We are going to see Ferrari eat an impale and take quite a bit of right-click damage afterwards. But again, just volatility all over, just has that feeling. We're going to see the Clockwork now at level 3. Doesn't have a single point in a battery assault, which makes sense given he's up against the Weaver. Instead, just going to try to guarantee he gets a decent gold start, gets up a couple of items a little bit quicker than he would otherwise. Now, Keeper of the Light trying to bring that down. We will see a telekinesis, but no follow-up.
There is a DD bottled up by Xiao 8, so it looks like he already has very early lane control. And there's a mana burn after the last bottle charge. No Astrals coming out for them. Next Assassin still has 3 bottle charges too. So this matchup is actually pretty dependent on if you get lucky with Astral procs or not. If you don't have any Astrals, then you're not going to be able to Astral Imprisonment, and Xiao 8 will have the advantage just constantly spamming mana burn. No Astral Imprisonment, no lane control.
Up at top, the 1v1 continues. Weaver sitting at 15. 9 CS for that Clockwork. Not too shabby. See a little Spirit Lance spam, DD. Let me go ahead and open up the back door there near the side shop on the Radiant side. And right now, I mean, both teams just kind of taking their time and letting the lanes be the lanes. Not a whole lot of movement outside of seeing DD rotate down initially.
Yeah, I think that once Xiao 8 hits level 6, though, he can put a lot of pressure on the map, either killing YYF on top lane or one of the key important heroes, such as Hao on bottom. So Hao is still doing very well in terms of CS, 20-0. That is double the last hits of Yao on the Lifestealer.
Up at top, YYF continuing to hang and bang about as well as you could expect him to, sitting now at 12 to the 18 of Weaver. He's really holding his own quite well, but still not a whole lot to talk about in terms of what's actually happening in front of our eyes. So why don't we talk a little bit about how this laning phase is going to break down. I mean, both teams have a lot of potential to get out and start making things happen early. Of course, IG with the IO, when he gets to level 6, he's about halfway there now, just about to cross into level 3. And the global presence that the Keeper gives you, but also for LGD, having the Chen, a hero they want to get involved early, having the Lifestealer.
Banana trying to go for the Runes and Eye on bottom. Is he going to be able to get it? Oh, nice. Nicely played by Banana there. That was very, very important for him. Now, Xiaowei doesn't have any mana. He does have his bottle coming back on Chicken, but being able to deny that haste rune, he would have been level 6 with Vendetta and a haste rune in his bottle. So very key play by Banana there.
So seeing the Nyx Assassin, like you said, having a little bit of a problem there, not being able to grab the rune, but both teams have the potential, Merlini, to really break this laning phase down and start moving around. Which team do you expect to get moving, and which team do you think will have the most success if they do so?
I think the pressure is definitely on the LGD. They have a free farm PL. He's 27 CS. I'm still constantly surprised at how well he's sub-farming without a Quelling Blade in this triple lane, especially with a Wisp as a support. And Chen is like being annoying with his Wildkin, but he's not really shutting PL down. So because early game PL has this much farm, I think it's definitely going to be on Xiao 8 and the rest of LGD to just constantly put the pressure on bottom, prevent Wisp from getting levels, prevent Relocate from being a factor. Don't let Keeper to Light just sit behind tower and passively blast. They have to go very, very aggressively with Lifestealer bombs inside the Nyx Assassin and or the Weaver and just try and mow them down constantly, make Hao underfarmed, make his supporters die, and just constantly feed to the Lifestealer and the Weaver.
See a little bit of an Illuminate spam, doing some damage. At top, continuing to keep an eye on Rabbit and YYF. Just so much can happen in this kind of a matchup with the strength of Cogs. Time lapse is available now for Rabbit though, so should be able to reliably dodge much of anything that would come his way, at least momentarily. Instead, just doing a little bit of right-click damage to YYF to force him back to begin with. We do see DD beginning to move around just a little bit more. As you mentioned, the Nyx Assassin, though, really the key hero on the side of LGD. He is a fresh level 6, does have Vendetta ready, and did not manage to find himself a rune, however. It's going to be a regen bottom.
If Xiao 8 gets it, this should be a first blood, though. I don't think that the Radiant team is prepared. There is one sentry on EO. Wisp is, or Nyx Assassin is level 6. They have to expect this game coming. He just dropped a sentry ward, so they know that something bad is about to happen.
Picks up the regen. He is actually going to double back. He's going to head right back to mid lane, so just not wanting to give too much more farm and experience to Ferrari that's not contested, and wants to soak up a little bit more himself. Take a look at the CS board. Weaver's sitting at the top now. He's at 34, as is that
they're coming
PL.
in with Chen behind. This could be Ferrari's demise.
Centaur going to lead the way, and very well angled. There's the stomp. Here comes Xiao 8. He has Vendetta at the ready. We'll use it after Impale and the mana burn. Actually, doesn't have the mana to use it now. And one test of faith, enough to get the first blood. LGD getting the job done, and as you mentioned, really IG, had to know that was coming. Had to know LGD was under the gun to move around first. It gets a very clutch kill on the OD.
And look at these observer wards, though. This one and this one. If you click on this one, it does not see where Chen was coming from. So I think it's very unfortunate for them that they didn't see them. I think if they placed it down here, they would have seen the Chen coming and dodged the first blood because he didn't actually use a smoke for that. So I don't remember who exactly placed these wards, but there's so much overlap that it did really cost Ferrari the first blood.
We can see still a little bit more hanging around. DDC is going to try and rush this down. Cannot catch up with him. There's a hook, though. Going to catch DD. Will he engage off of it? Here comes ION. Telekinesis there to buy some time. Illuminate off the mark. LGD very quick to reverse thrusters and get out of the way. So another gank attempt on one side, responded to by LGD, or excuse me, by IG, and they're able to hold it together. Not able to get the kill they were looking for, but able to avoid any more damage.
Very, very fast telekinesis. He was able to get a telekinesis off before the cog. Had he been able to get the cog off, there would have been an illuminate to follow up and battery assault inside the cogs. Somebody would have died there for sure.
DD at level 4.5. And I like what LGD's doing with the Shen. They're being much more active with him this time around. Going to see a TP back to top. They're going to try to deny this tower. That's actually going to be Hal. Can he get it? No. Weaver actually does manage to get the last hit on the tower, so the tier 1 disappears. YYF is making his way up. He has 20 seconds until his hook's ready, but for now, Faith sitting at just level 4.5, still looking for that elusive level 6.
I think that Hal, I like this build from Hal. He's going for the early drums build because he knows that LGD can't put a lot of pressure. He needs to be able to survive the ganks. If he goes Yasha, he doesn't have any HP, and they're very likely to catch him out with a Nyx Assassin and or a Weaver Bomb. So look at Nyx Assassin's position right now, just trying to put out pressure on Hal.
Yep, Nyx dropping the ward down, but Hal wisely pulling back, only had enough mana for one more Doppelwalk. And in the meantime, looks like DD actually up. Hang on, another nice hook on the DDC coming from across the river. There's a net to follow it up, but isn't enough. The cogs did get down this time. Here comes the TP in from Rabbit. He has time lapse if he wants to take a chance, and he does. TP response coming from IG. A little bit of damage done. There's an impale onto Faith. Mana burned as well. There's an Astral Imprison in response. Has help on the other side of the river. There's an open wounds we hear coming out. In the meantime, they're engaging from behind. We're going to see Banana cleaned up by LGD. Another TP in. This time it's going to be Hal coming in on the PL. So the backside response coming out of LGD. And Rabbit looking for a target. Going to rush right in. There it is. Back out. YYF drops down the cogs this time, though. Yao taking a decent amount of damage. YYF going to be bursted down by Rubik's Fade Bolt. Hal keeping an eye on things. He has a Spirit Lance at the ready if he wants to spin it, and he will. Trying to get the kill on Zhao 80. Vendetta's away. There's a Tether Stun, though. They have Spirits to clean him up. He tried to get out of the circle. DD next in trouble. There's the Spirit Lance to make it another kill. Go in favor of IG. The ultra aggression of LGD might have worked out if they had just pulled back after getting the kill with the LS. Instead, they hang around. IG repositions, regroups, and adds a few kills to their own total. 2 to 3, they're on the board.
That was a very nice tether stun. As soon as he infested out of the Shikuchi, the Lifestealer and the Weaver got tethered, and that's what really set up the kill on them. So very nice play by them there. I think it was a little bit overextension. They don't really need to die behind this area. It's okay to get a kill here, which is where they killed the Keeper Light, but they're not that far ahead that they can do that. And now PL sitting at 1-0-1, been involved in both kills. He does have his drums up, and things are pretty scary. They don't have a solution for Hal in the late game, so they have to shut him down in this early mid, and they have not been doing a very good job of doing that at all. His drum's already in his stash right now. Looks like EO is going to try and give him a little bit of mana right now.
We can see IO just short of level 6. They're going to be able to start getting much more active as soon as this wave is cleared. We see a little bit of movement heading down to that bottom lane as Zhao and Zhao 8 are heading that way. In the mid, we're going to have another set of cogs go down. Out comes the Infest from Yao. And the Impale will catch YYF. He should be cleaned up and will. No Astral Imprison from Ferrari to save him that time. Buy some time by imprisoning the Nyx. And there is a little bit more heading up from the side. Rabbit taking a look over the edge near the Ancients there. Invis room popped by the Old Dirty. Keeping an eye on what's going on across the river. Doesn't look like they're going to overcommit, though. In the meantime, in bottom, we see the 3 have hooked up. Faith, Banana, as well as Hal. And finally, DD looks like he's ready to come back out of the woods. He's got his buckler up on his way to a mechanism.
The Old Dirty Birdie.
The Old Dirty. LGD.
Looks like he's going a 4-staff build. I'm surprised that he's not going mech. I think that they need a mech because LGD has been putting a lot of pressure on them. Even though the kill score isn't that high, they've still been constantly in this area of the map, always looking for kills. And looks like they're smoking, trying to keep up the pressure. It reveals, looks like Wisp is going to take a very, very quick fall. That's okay, though. It's a 3-hero rotation with a Vendetta, and PL didn't die. And they use a smoke. So not that bad. He should be above in time if LGD decides to force the issue at this T1.
You can see the Wild Wing getting the Tornado involved once again. In the meantime, Rabbit just melting down creeps right in front of the Tier 1. Ferrari's behind the tower. Got a little bit of help in YYF. He'll be looking to land himself another hook. Still just level 1, though. He is only level 7. And the tower taking some damage. DD popped on the Weaver. Going to make it very tough to defend this, even if they wanted to, and they're just going to sack it. So, first tower goes down here in mid. In the meantime, we see a little split push from IG. As they thought about moving up, it looks like they're thinking better of it now as LGD moves back into the Radiant jungle.
I would like to have seen them mount a defense for the T1 and towers in mid and bottom, because now that they can't farm their jungle, it's a constant issue that we see. Like in the Spectre game, once they take out a mid T1 and bottom T1, they just can't farm at all. And PL is going to be very hard pressed. It opens up a lot of the map for Nyx Assassin to roam, and they're not going to be able to hold a gem anytime soon. I think that OD still is pretty close to his 4-staff, but I don't know if this is going to make that big a difference. I think Mech will just be a huge deal for them. Banana, is he going to get caught out right now? Ooh, wow. Sun just comes maybe half a second too late.
Looks like LGD, although they're unable to get Banana, are going to get yet another Tier 1 up at top. We see Weaver in position to defend the Tier 1 top, even against the Phantom Lancer and an IO. A little bit of help's now heading down. Tough to push into a Keeper of the Light. YYF shows his face, and they have to fear the hook now. However, Zhao 8 with Vendetta off cooldown takes on a passenger. He's going to go for it. Ducking down, taking a look just behind the tower. YYF will show his face now. And, yep, he's going to go ahead and just flat out dive it. There's the impale shot from long range. Infest out. Mana burns there. Can they burst him down? He used hook just to try and buy some time. Here comes the help, though. Chin blows the heal. Faith is down. And now How in some trouble as well. Ferrari throws off the Imprison. We can see Banana trying to catch a nice amount of burst with the magic, but at the same time, not enough. The Illuminate, not any kind of deterrent, and this has turned into an unmitigated disaster in bottom lane as LGD has taken control. As you mentioned, already bringing down the Tier 1 mid. Now the Tier 1 bottom's going to drop. They have yet to lose a tower in any lane. Map control completely theirs. And IG running out of real estate in ways that they can make this lineup work for them.
That was such a poorly executed fight. They had plenty of time to react to LGD's push, but the way they mounted defense was just exceptionally poor. YYF died. He tried to cast Cog. I saw the green highlight around the skill, but he wasn't able to get it off in time. And without Clockwork there, you can't really take a team fight. Clockwork has to be there to counter initiate. If they try and go in with a Nyx Assassin and a Lifestealer, you need a hook shot. Those two trap inside the cogs and isolate the rest of the team. But with Clockwork down, they relocated in. Phantom Lancer didn't even have double walk up when they relocated in. They could have just traded a T1 for a T1 and just lived to fight another day. Now How is, I think he didn't actually lose that much gold from that fight, but I mean, they need him to get a defusal before they can actually mount a very appropriate defense. If not, all 5 are there. All they need to do is just try and delay with Keeper Light. Banana had already TP'd out, and I'm not exactly sure why YYF stuck around without any of his team there to back him up.
How making some progress towards that diffusal, as you mentioned. He's got enough for his second Blade of Alacrity now, so not a million miles away, but certainly a lot further than he'd like to be. At this point, LGD really just in control of this game, and they know it. That's why they're going to move into the Roche pit. Chen has just finished his mechanism, and the Nyx Assassins picked up a Blink Dagger, which I think is an item they very desperately needed, especially just looking for other ways to try and get the Lifestealer into the battle.
They rocketed it in. They know that this is going on, and it's actually very, very slow. The Wildcats already died, so they don't have that armor bonus. Is IG going to actually do something about it?
DD picked up by Zhao 8. Doesn't look like IG really has that much interest in doing much about it. With the DD on the Nyx, they got to be careful.
I don't know. Yao is very, very low. He's about half HP right now. Looks like it's a very good time for them to fight.
Here we go. They're going to go for it. There's the Impale onto the IO, though. He's blown up. And just heard the hook go in. They're going to try to steal this. Yao's there trying to blow up YYF. Roche still up and fighting, however. Looks like, Chen got the kill. And Roshan killed by the Age is still on the ground. I was reading over on the side to make sure I didn't miss who grabbed it. No one had grabbed it, but now finally picked up by Weaver. We're going to see an Astral in prison as they try to retreat. Another poor trade for IG. Ferrari next on the kill list. IO back up, but 3 down in total. And they waited a little bit too long. A little bit of a hesitation. Roche was too low. I was really surprised no one was able to grab the Aegis up in the time it took. But now Rabbit, very close to his Lincolns and with a fresh Aegis to boot. Zhao 8 not done. Looking for kills, though, as he's taking on the Lifestealer. Going to head towards top lane. 2 targets there. That's Faith and How.
We see a sentry ward over here. I think they need a sentry ward like dead in the middle of the river, just so that they can see Nyx Assassin. Nyx Assassin just picked out the EO before the fight started, and I'm surprised they didn't actually relocate into the pit along with the Clockwork ult. Roshan was very, very low. Maybe he had a nice relocate out to save. Well, actually, it looks like How may die. What kind of relocate was that? He relocated like not very far at all.
Yeah.
And he still died to the.
Yeah, no.
Still died to the. He had a magic stick too. What happened to Phantom Lancer?
I have no idea. I thought they relocated back to the base. I didn't even see where they ended up going.
He relocated back here, and then he just was running back like all the way over here, and then he just died to the swarm on him.
That's a shame. That's just a damn shame. That's all you can say about it. 3-14. A little bit of a mechanical mistake, and as we've talked about, a lot of these Chinese squads just not super experienced with IO, and the reactions maybe not quite what they would want them to be. Nonetheless, LGD takes down yet another tower. Only 2 outer tier towers remain, while all but 1 still stand for LGD. 3-14. Take a look at the gold graph as we approach 20 minutes. More than 500 gold per minute lead generated so far for LGD, and the experience right there as well. So not only are they beating up on IG in gold, they're beating up on them in levels too.
I think that things started to go wrong for IG once they let this T1 tower fall. They actually mounted a pretty good defense the first time after the Weaver Shikuchi'd in and with the Infest over in this area. But after they let the T1 fall on mid, they're like, oh crap, they're going to take down all our towers. And they tried this like half-ass defense on the T1 on bottom. They lost that. They lost control of their jungle. They lost control of the bottom half of the map. They lose Roshan control, and everything just started with this one. I think that Keeper Light is traditionally pretty good versus this kind of strategy, but you have to ban out Nyx Assassin. Nyx Assassin counters so much of their lineup. They can't farm anywhere. We just see Ferrari just get absolutely blown up in less than a second's time. He got dominated in mid by the Nyx Assassin, just constantly mana burning with a little bit of help from the Chen. He shuts down Keeper Light when he illuminates. You just pop your Carapace and then just run in and kill him. And Xiao 8, 2-1 and 9 on this hero. Very, very good draft by him and excellent play.
He's just going to go for it. Spots out Banana. And cleaned up with the help of DDC on the high ground using the Fade Bowl. And yeah, this has just reached that point. Whenever you have a team like this just barreling at this kind of speed, you can't even get into position to try to contest it. This is going to be their next to last outer tier tower, dropping down. Nice mech charge, big army of creeps.
Just go for the T3.
Yeah, they've got a big army of creeps, and at this point, all Hal can do is hope that his level 1 defusal is going to be enough to keep them in this game, and I don't think it will be, especially with Rabbit having finished his Lincolns.
There he goes.
And Mana Burn on the Ferrari doing a lot of damage. Astral Imprison's there. What did DDC get? He actually got Astral Imprison. There's going to be a nice hook in, though. Chim blows the heel. Zhao Wei trying to do what he can. Illuminate will do a bit of damage. YYF waddling his way out. Here we go. Nice OD. Ult manages to secure the kill. And now Yao just looking for targets. Io's going to be the first to drop. Hal trying to get away. No such luck. In the meantime, the tier 3 does drop from the assault from the creeps. Rabbit continuing to bang on Hal. And they're not about to abandon this. Not with IO down. Mechanism plus time lapse keeps Rabbit up and fighting despite eating the Illuminate in his face. This should be a set of racks. Maybe one more Illuminate and a little bit more damage. Might be able to get something done. But DDC going to be diffused and or cleaned up via the diffusal blade. Yao now trying to pursue them out. Cogs go down, do a little bit of damage. Just a very slow and methodical attempt at this. Good spirit usage by Faith, hitting a lot with that damage. They're going to blow a drum charge. Now they're going to re-engage. Here comes Zhao just looking to blow up Faith. Off goes the dust, but don't know that matters. Impale from the low ground. Caught Hal. Will it be enough? Good carapace. No. Nice Illuminate. Hit everyone from LGD. That might be the Aegis, and it will be. Yao, though, still up and running, has already used his Infest. They're not willing to give up quite yet. Feeling like they're in control here. That's going to be another Illuminate mech'd through by LGD. Finally, they're going to clean up that ranged racks, and that might be enough to tell them it's maybe time to abandon the throning there. 5-20 at the end. A set of racks gone, and LGD in great shape.
Very good push by LGD there. Very timely carapaces. One was at the end there to kill the OD. Just very spot-on play by Xiao 8, blocking the Illuminates too. So Banana can't really do anything. He can Illuminate, run home and heal, Illuminate, run home and heal. And he died, he bought back, Vendetta all the way from mid-tower and was there very, very quickly. And I thought that IG would have way more mobility with the Relocate and the Recall, but they haven't really been using either of those spells. Well, actually, Keeper's not 6 yet, so I can see why.
DD on Zhao 8. And he's got a passenger. He's going to move up and look to make some. Oh, banana. Oh, banana. This could be bad, buddy. This is probably going to be bad, buddy. Nope. Managed to pull back just in time. In the meantime, at top, looks like they've hooked up and are trying to make something happen. Rabbit able to get himself back to safety. We see DDC with DD just trying to get another little menagerie of creeps.
Oh, they waited for him as he relocated, just with an infested bomb inside the Knicks, and just blew up Faith. Xiao 8, I must commend his play this game. 3-2-12. It doesn't actually seem like that great of a score, but the amount of pressure that he's able to put out all around the map, as well as shut down Ferrari in the laning phase, is just incredible.
Basher done on the Lifestealer, and soon to be a Desolator done on Rabbit. Pretty much everything they need now complete, just short of 25 minutes. And LGD ready to pour it on. I mean, they really are just in great shape. 4 of the top 5 farmers all belonging to LGD. Only the Phantom Lancer anywhere near in range. The OD well underfarmed. And the Illuminate only going to do so much. Another very nice carapace.
I'm surprised that the Chen didn't actually go for a pipe. If you have a pipe, you don't even give any flips about keeping the lights illuminate. But he actually opted for a Ghost Scepter. He's only had 1 death this game. I don't really think he needs the defensive item.
There's the Deso already used. And we can see LGD just taking total control at this point. Last outer tier tower does drop, now rotating down to mid. What could end up being a game-ending push. Roshan will be back up in a couple of minutes, though, so if they decide to pull back and just wait it out, take the jungle away, and wait for Roche to respond, can't much blame them, however. Xiao 8, having the LS inside, might decide to go headhunting a bit.
I think this has to do a little bit with the lineup, though. With EO and Keeper of Light, they're not bad together. You get a lot of synergy with the mana. You can tether and then just like shocker like 2 people at once. But with Phantom, Lancer, and OD, their lineup's like far too passive. They aren't able to make the use out of relocate, play offensively at all. They try to make it do with Clockwork, but YYF can't do anything by himself. He's had some like pretty good hook shots and initiates, but he's 1-5-2. They just aren't able to score any kills around the map because they don't have anyone that can apply pressure. Phantom Lancer is like kind of applying pressure by like, hey, we need to kill him, but they've killed him plenty of times.
Speaking of, Xiao 8. So it's about a quarter time left. Let's see if he wants to go for it. Thought about it, thought better of it. Pulled back. Has help behind
They need
it.
a gem on him.
Yep.
They have a gem, but it's not carried by the Nyx Assassin for some reason.
Throwing out
Oh, there it goes. They just swapped it.
Making a little bit of room, using up his last dust. He will have Vendetta back up in 15 seconds. In the meantime, PL
If they find out right now, though, it's going to be really, really bad. I think he just spent his money on a Vit Booster as well as Diffusal 2. He's very, very close to buyback level 13. He should just have enough.
LGD threatening down mid. They've essentially cut off the complete bottom right quarter of this map. And once again, Vendetta up. Got to go looking for trouble. No one really in range at this point.
Sentry wards, though. They'll spot it out.
LGD in a position to push if they want to. And IG should be spotted now up at top. That's Ferrari plus 1. Are they going to actually try to pursue this out? Looks like they are. Here comes Rabbit coming in to do what damage you can. I'm a little surprised he didn't just decide to go ahead and try to push. They have the damage output and the ability to jump anyone who happened to TP into mid, but instead opting to go ahead and just pull back.
Lifestealer has been spending a lot of time inside Xiao 8, checking the infest. I can't actually see the cooldown right now, but they're looking for kills right now, but I think he should have just given up after they killed the ward out in this spot. They're desperately trying to find a kill. They actually have a chicken. I guess they didn't take down the Roshan timer, so they're scouting it with a chicken. Very smart move by them if you don't know exactly when the 10 minutes is up.
Roche back up very, very shortly. Looks like they're just kind of playing a defensive game, just looking to take whatever they could when they could instead of committing to a mid-fight. Probably could have had a chance to win it. But Xiao 8 down, moving back down to these steps in bottom lane, hoping to catch someone coming out for farm. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Roche coming back up as we speak, and there it is. And now going to be on IG to try and do what they can to contest this and keep the Aegis out of the hands of an LGD squad that is already miles and miles ahead.
I do not think that they can contest this Roshan at all, though. Like, absolutely not. They have to just scramble for some sort of farm and get as many items as they can before the impending base push that is probably going to be the game's end with this Aegis of the Immortal. They can just throw it on Weaver. Weaver can just run inside and just do whatever he wants. Unfortunately, they don't have a pipe yet. Chen, I think, would have had one if he hadn't bought his Ghost Scepter or his point booster, but it's not that big of a deal.
Nothing they can do. The Aegis goes into the back pocket of Weaver. And apparently Lifestealer's just signed a lease and moved in. He's spending enough time at Zhao 8's house. Here comes Ferrari with Faith. And looks like they're going to have a chance to spot him out, and they will. They'll beat this poor IO. Oh, tethers just in time, and he blinks up, says the hell with it. Comes out anyway, throws out the impale, and able to catch up with Ferrari, but they do manage to blow up the IO. Ferrari going to be sent home TPing, and Hal going to be brought home by a recall from the Keeper of the Light. IO back up in 20 seconds, though, so not the most fortuitous kill they could have had, but still nice to have.
It was smart by Xiao 8 to go with the impale first. He tried to impale out of it. Did I hear a hook shot?
Yep. DD on the bad end of it, Ghost Scepter out of it. And now going to have a net catching YYF. Yao's going to re-engage, and the impale's there to help secure the kill. The rest of IG sent scrambling back for the well. That hook was actually off the market, ran into the Phantom Lancer. That's one reason he was unable to get him inside the cogs. And yep, one nice shot. Nice impale mana burn. The burst damage, physical and magic, is just way too high coming out of LGD at this point. 3 down, 43 seconds until Ferrari's back up. He does not have buyback even if he wanted to use it, so don't know that there's a whole lot they're going to be able to do. Pop the glyph to buy some time, even with Keeper of the Light and clock back up. The Phantom Lancer really just not in the best of shape to try and fight. Yep, and they're just going to call the GG.
I think that LGD did a fantastic job of handling OD. OD is like one of the first bans in most of the series that we've seen, and they give it to IG sometimes later in the draft, but LGD with the Nyx Assassin in this game, played by Xiao 8 with a Razor in last game, just did a very, very good job of handling him. And I would say that IG overrates it, or they just don't know how to draft around it. So very well played by LGD. Xiao 8, I think, definitely carrying this game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, we saw this series went to all 3 games, but to be honest, it never really felt close except for the beginning of Game 3, just because it's been more or less 3 stomps. IG and LGD both showing they have the capability to not just go toe-to-toe, but to run over the toes of the composition if given any room to breathe at all. 28-58, the final timer. 5-25, an absolute command performance coming from LGD Gaming here in our second best of 3 of the night here at the HyperX D2L. So we got 2 behind us, looking ahead to our 3rd match of the evening. Can't wait to get it underway. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers, joined by Merlini for commentary as always. And yeah, Merlini, I mean, we're 2/3 through the night, and want to say good morning to our European viewers as they begin to get up, sip their coffee, and hopefully come join us for some good Dota. And a good night to our to our North American viewers, as most of them are probably on their way to sleep. The late hours are fun, my friend, and hopefully you got a Monster Energy to sip on to get you through our next series. I'm going to take that as a yes. Apparently he thought I was signing up, so that's okay.
Oh, yeah, I thought you were signing up.
Oh, no, don't worry. You always hear
I
me
don't
say
have a fridge full like yours.
Oh, wait, yeah, dude, it is awesome. Awesome. Monster Rehab is legit. But anyway, guys, we'll be right back with our 3rd series of the evening coming up here in just a few minutes. Again, I'm AC. That's Merlini. Stick with us. D2L Season 4 brought to you by HyperX resumes coming up next.